In this video, I will explain everything you must understand to finally scale your B2B SaaS with paid ads. No matter which channel you're scaling with right now, the beauty of getting paid ads to finally work is because it's a simple, high leverage, predictable way for you to add the next couple million in annual revenue. And if you tried some paid ads in the past and they didn't really work out, by the end of watching this video, you will know what exactly might have been wrong in your situation. So first thing you must do is you must tailor all messaging to speak to your perfect prospect. This is the like the step 0 where so many founders get it wrong because they are afraid that there are not enough people who fall into their perfect prospect profile. And they're mistaken because look, the broader audience you speak to, the worse your conversions are, and the more you end up paying for ads because it just costs you more to get the meetings, conversions, etc. There are 3.5 billion people on Meta. God knows how many billion people using Google as well, maybe even more. With that said, they've been developing their algorithms for decades now with maybe 10, 20,000 people working on them. And look, there are a lot of people who fall into your ICP bracket. That's why when you're making the campaign, don't just try to, for example, look, actually you want to sell to these people, but this and that also can buy. Look, and the broader you go in your messaging, the worse everything is going to perform. So that's why the first thing you want to start with is to understand, okay, who would be the type of prospects who would pay the most for my solution, the quickest, and who would require the least convincing from my side. And you, for example, if you already have like 10, 50K MRR, you may go through your customer list and figure out, okay, who are paying us the most, were easiest to sell to, and are the happiest, because this is the exact buyer group who you want to target with ads. And do not be afraid that, oh, there is not enough people, because look, no matter the platform you're using, my favorite one is Meta. It's just, there are people, I mean, usually tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of prospects who fall into your ideal category. And the longer you are not getting in front of them, the more time you're giving to competitors to do it for you. So just tailor your messaging to exactly the most ideal people you may think of. See what's already working for competitors. So many founders try to reinvent the wheel, and there is no need for that because most things have already been created for you and you just need to know how to leverage them the correct way. You can check out my other video, which is called That's How You Find Winning SaaS Ad Creatives with Zero Creativity, to learn how to do this right and find the best performing stuff of your competitors. But no matter which niche you're in, if you're making some money, high chance you do have a decent list of competitors. So after watching this video, you will understand how to replicate some of their winners to give yourself a quick head start and start getting results rather than wait a year trying to form some new marketing vision and reinvent the wheel. You don't need to. Then start with direct offers. And again, one of other mistakes I see founders make when they are putting their first budgets into ad campaigns is instead of just looking for the most stupid, simple way to make it work, they're overcomplicating it. And that's how, even though I have so many advanced types of tactics and strategies for it, usually my role is simplifying it to the core so that it's impossible for the campaigns to fail. Because what we start with often is we start with the most direct offer possible, which is if you're X or like ideal profile, tired of Y, our software will help you achieve that dream outcome. So for instance, if you are a logistics company doing above 10 million in annual revenue, tired of miscommunication with your subcontractors, our software will help you finally put everything in one place, so you can cut the operations complexity in half. Or, I mean, if you're building a SaaS in your niche, you should know how to put the words together there. So you describe your ideal customer profile here. You speak exactly to them. Tired of why? Because touching on the pain point gets people to resonate and read to the rest, and that's the marketing approach that is as old, I mean thousands of years. If you are tired of neck pain, go try this pill. If someone has neck pain, they always read to the end of your copy. Same works across any other niche. Our software will help you achieve that dream outcome, and here usually in your marketing you want to be speaking about the dream outcome that someone can be realistically getting with your solution. I'm not telling you to go and be super extraordinary with promising like blue skies and something that is very hard to achieve, but you want to be going with a rather go sexier wording rather than conservative one, because this way you can attract more people. And even if you cannot guarantee every user gets such result, you want again to be optimizing your campaign for the best types of prospects. Next one, depending on the platform, learn how to get the algorithm, show it to the ideal prospects. And I love Meta because it's smartest and can understand who to show your ads to, even before they're actively looking for it on Google. So there are just so many things which go into targeting, but one thing to understand here is you must make your messaging again be tailored to your ideal prospects to make it easier for the platform to understand who to show your ads to. And at the same time, you want to add filters to get rid of all the irrelevant people, disqualifying all the irrelevant leads. So I had many situations when people came to me saying, oh, we're running ads, but we get so many shitty prospects. Well, no surprise, because you're not disqualifying anyone. And this is wrong, because your ads are showing to thousands of people every single day. And unless you disqualify the tire kickers, you're going to get so many of them. And we don't want this. The way you only get the right people through the door is you add the disqualification mechanisms, and you can control the demand in some form, because the more bookings you're getting, this means that the stricter you can be becoming in terms of disqualifying irrelevant people. So if you had 2 questions people needed to answer before booking, and you had like 50 calls, 40 of them irrelevant, try to do 7 questions now. Yes, your cost per call is going to become higher, but at the same time, you will not need to hire as many SDRs to manage all the irrelevant leads, because you don't want to add operational complexity for no reason. Next one is you want to nail prequall process with trust assets and the check-in. And you want to get all the decision makers present. Again, no matter the campaign you're running, if someone hears about you from an ad, usually, even though they're coming inbound to you, it's still a cold lead. So what you need to do is you want to maximize the level of trust from the moment they booked a call till the meeting. Because if you can make the most out of this 1 or 2 or 3 days, and get them to know you a lot more, this is going to make the sales process a ton easier. And I mean, for example, situations when we would go from like 3 to 5% close rate to 15, 20, 25. It's all about how well you design this process from booking to the actual call. What you want to do is you want to add the trust assets page. You want yourself or your closer to or like account executive to check in with someone who has booked, because you want to go back and forth with a couple questions and just to get to know them better, so that there is some conversation already happening, which increases your show up rates too. And then you should get all the decision makers present if possible, because especially for enterprise type selling, if you can get another 2 or 3 people on the initial call, you may save yourself 2 or 3 months in the sales cycle. And if you look at your annual revenue trajectory after a year or two, you will just notice how much, like if we have 2 companies and one had a 6-month sales cycle and another one had a 2-month sales cycle, selling the same deal size, one company would grow 3 times as large within a year, 2-year time frame, which is like uncomparable when we look at it from a 3-5 year perspective. The next one is identify the winners and make more iterations of them. So another mistake I often see is once you see something working, you try to again reinvent the wheel. And that's not what we want, because once you see that your ad, imagine your, let's say that you sell something like 10K annual software subscription. You have a 5% target for cost per call. Or in other words, let's say that you want to be booking calls at $300. If you are getting some calls booked at $350 or $370, it doesn't mean that you need to go for some extraordinary changes and come up with completely different everything. All you need to do to go from, say, $350 down to $300 cost per booking is make a few slight improvements. So you use the wording which is already working and already resonating, and just you can try out in another campaign, you try out a different creative, you tweak the words slightly, but you don't go and recreate it from scratch every single time. And another important lesson I learned after spending multiple 6 figures on all these ad campaigns is you want to be putting 80% of your budget into winners and validated stuff, and 20% of the budget into new tests, everything, not like 50-50 or 30-70, because as long as you are putting most of the money into the validated ads, you would be on a good track to be making decent profit from your campaigns. Lastly, the scaling side of things, identify the winners, make more iterations. As I mentioned, it's very easy to mess up the campaigns as you are trying to scale them, because here you need to worry about the way you design the campaign architecture, how you allocate ad sets, ads, and stuff like that. And there are other things which go into it for you to make the most out of your spend. And if you want to avoid burning multiple 6 figures before getting it right, you can apply to my coaching program, so I can show you how to add the next 1 to 3 million ARR a lot quicker, as I've already done for over 100 different B2B SaaS founders. I appreciate you watching, and just once again, really recommend you to check out this one video, because again, when you just know how to take the winning ads of your competitors and make them work for you, it's easy money. Cool. Thanks, and talk soon.